Oh, I'm laughing because that is what we call the beauty cam. There's nothing beautiful about it today. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live studio show here on MXGP TV with me, Paul Malin, and Lisa Leyland. It's round 18 of 19, the penultimate round, the MXGP of Italy at Maggiora. And I'd love to say it's beautiful here, but it's anything but. Anyway, let's tell you who's coming on the studio show today. Thibault Benistant, Monster Energy Yamaha Factory MX2. And then we've changed the second guest and third guest situation because literally MXGP came off the track a few moments ago. So Tim Gajser lines up last, and in between that we've got Patrik Erlandsson coming in from JWR, and he's also involved with MIPS as well. So a helmet safety feature to talk about in a few moments' time. But before that, Lisa Leyland.
Hello, Paul.
Here we are.
We
Two
are
to
here.
go.
Yeah.
Could be a big weekend for Jorge Prado this weekend.
Yeah, and Andrea as well. He has to leave it 60 points ahead of Liam. Can you imagine if he wrapped up the title on home soil? That would be so cool.
Imagine if there are two titles wrapped up here on home soil this weekend, effectively, because of the Decali team connection.
It's going to be a good
my
one,
God,
isn't it? Oh, I'm excited about this, Thibault. Aren't you?
I'll get you a tissue. Anyway, Thibault Benistant, our first guest. Good to see you. Monster Energy Yamaha Factory MX2. Look, as I said, good to see you. But at the same time, we haven't seen you since Lockett. How are you? You 100% now?
Yeah, I've been a long time off. We was not expecting that long, actually. Yeah, I think 1 month and a half now without riding, so was quite long, and we just didn't know when I was able to be back because we just have to wait that I don't feel, let's say, symptom about my head, because it was really difficult to focus, and when I was too much looking on something or focus, like I was losing the focus, and also my eyes was burning and that kind of stuff, so it was not easy to wait and doing nothing for. I was not able to do sports for 1 completely month, I think, so it was not easy to come back also quickly, and with only 5 riding being there in the mud is not the best one, but I still enjoyed this morning, so it's nice.
Yeah, well, it was a shame, though, because, you know, you had a good start to the season, and actually, you know, I'm guessing from your side, you felt you could really challenge for the title this year.
Yeah, at that point I was quite good on the championship with the point and everything, but yeah, unlucky I crashed on the start, and we cannot change this.
Yeah.
No.
It's part of the sport, so yeah.
Well, you had 3 podiums in the first 3 GPs. Your first win came in Switzerland. Just tell us, what did that win do for your confidence going forward?
Yeah, for sure, when you start the season with 3 podiums in a row and one win, yeah, it's always nice, and for sure for the confidence going into the next one, you feel even better. But I think the next one didn't went so well.
Well, I was just going to say, actually, after this, you moved up to 2nd in the championship standings. Then I think you had three GPs that were pretty tough. It was Trentino, Portugal, and Spain. And why was that, do you think? I mean, was it just little mistakes or just bad starts? But it was a string of them, wasn't it, in a row?
Actually, on that 3 next GP, I was a bit struggling with the feeling that I can get on a bike. I was not really feeling confident and riding safe, let's say. So we didn't have so much time to try to change something because the GP was just coming week after week. So, but then when we found it was directly way better, and I think I go against for 3 podium in a row, so was way better.
Yeah. Well, just obviously looking here, what was a fantastic Grand Prix in Switzerland. Lisa just covered the 3 rounds that were difficult. But how do you bounce back from that as a rider? Because, you know, mentally, the confidence after winning, you know, you finished 5th, and then there was a difficult one, then it was 6th. How do you bounce back from that? Do you have a serious conversation with yourself? Do you keep everything the same? You don't change anything? Or do you just look and say, okay, maybe the reason for this was this, so we try a different suspension setting, or we try different mapping? Or how did you deal with it?
Actually, on the beginning, I just thought that I just had no feeling with the track. Actually, it was the kind of track that I should go quite fast. But it can happen that you pass away 1 weekend, and then in Portugal, I was like, okay, I know that is something wrong. What exactly? I'm not able to say it, but I was feeling something wrong, and then we start to search a bit, and then was directly the next one. So Yamaha makes some tests, and yeah, they they found a small difference between the training bike and the race. So actually, when the dirt was grippy, was quite nice, and I was not feeling this so much. And when it was quite hard and with speed, I was struggling. So then we found it. But for sure, at one point, I was a bit in my mind like, okay, it's me or the bike, because everyone was thinking that it was just myself a bit. So yeah, I was a bit in doubt at one point.
But France was good. Villars, how special was that for you, your home GP?
Yeah, for sure, to win a French GP is always nice, and I was feeling really good, and I had some good starts, so everything went perfect, let's say. Yeah,
well, it was a race win, a GP win, and obviously the confidence is back again. And then you make 3 podiums in a row because you won a podium in Latvia and Germany. So from that point, the championship was back on again because you were back in second place, and things were really looking like, yeah, the second half can be really, really good.
Yeah, after Villars, yeah, it started to go well again, and my riding was quite good. I just started to feel better and better after that point. So, yeah, it's a bit a shame, but it's like this.
Nice podium, though.
Yeah, it was really nice.
And we have that, actually. What was your thoughts when you were standing on the podium? Because you never won a French GP before?
No, I won some motos in both French GP the years in the past, but I never won the overall.
Nice. Yeah. Really, really nice. Well, Thibault, you have missed 6 GPs. The championship is gone. But Majora, a good track, I guess, for you to return to. I know that you actually won your first MX2 race here in Majora, didn't you?
Was it muddy as well that day?
No, it was not like that. The condition was better, but yeah, it should be a track that I like and I enjoy with the downhill and the jumps. But yeah, today is completely different, and we're going to see how it's going.
How was the free practice, actually? And just looking out of our window now, if you look on our camera, we have a window, by the way. You can't see anything out of it there at the moment, but it's raining pretty heavy. Although the track in the free practice looked like it rode okay, because we had a lot of rain on Thursday, for those who don't know.
Ooh, lovely.
You know, and that is the track. Fortunately, we have no EMX this weekend to destroy the track a bit more, but it looked okay. That can change, though.
Yeah, actually, the free practice was looking quite okay. Now, as we can see on the camera, yeah, it started to rain a lot, and it's going to be, I think, full of water in many places. But I don't know if it's going to be worse or no. Like, I think it's or should rain a lot, or it have to stop, but on the middle is going to be really hot.
Yeah. Well, apparently the weather is supposed to pick up this afternoon, so hopefully things are better then. But in the meantime, enjoy your next session on the track.
We'll try.
And thanks for joining us. It's been a while since we saw you, and all the best for the next 2 GPs.
Yeah, thank
Good
you.
to see you.
Thanks,
Benistant. Right, our next guest is getting ready to join us, Patrik Erlandsson. He's team manager, coordinator for JWR Honda. But as we'll find out in a few moments' time, he's also involved with MIP. So coming up, though, we've got a clip from Behind the Gate, Mind the Gap, episode 17. This focuses on Rick Elzinga at his home Grand Prix in the Netherlands. Everybody away, but what's going to happen through this first turn?
Rick had a fantastic start in the qualifying race. We saw him leading the way, and he was holding that lead for quite some time. He had that rush of adrenaline and that energy, and I really think he was feeding off the energy from the fans.
Lucas Koenen alongside Elzinga. Oh, lifts his leg high, he's off wrestling the side of the track. Somehow stays up, Lucas Koenen. The battle for the lead. Lucas Koenen all over the back of Rick Elzinga once again. 2/10 in it as they hit the line at the end of lap 5.
He said it's just the atmosphere he got from the fans just made him want to do better. But he's not used to being at the sharp end. And I think with him, after that rush of adrenaline, the reality sunk in. He was leading his race.
Tried to go around the outside a couple of laps ago, was denied. He's alongside this time around. Can he close down the door at the end of the straight? Well, Elzinga will get his elbows out. He'll hold a nice tight line, but fantastic ride in that just chucked it in there. Lucas Kuhnen takes over the lead on lap 6.
And I think he got a little bit nervous. I think maybe he just felt a little bit uncomfortable, and the intensity perhaps at the sharp end became too much for him. I think for him, just leading for those laps would do a huge amount for his confidence. He knows that he can get the starts, and he knows he can lead MX2 races now.
Hello everybody, welcome back to our live studio show here on MXGP TV with me, Paul Malin, and Lisa Leyland. It's part 2. We are in Italy, believe it or not, despite the weather. Our second guest joins us now. His name is Patrik Erlandsson, and he does have a couple of hats on. And of course, one of those is Team JWR, team coordinator and team manager. But he's also involved with MIPS, which we'll talk about in a moment. Patrik, good to see you. Welcome to our studio show. Our paths have crossed many times this year. As we said, 2 different hats on, but what have you made of the action in both MX2 and MXGP this year? Because we are now at the final couple of races. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are there's been a good racing all year in both classes. Of course, we are, as a team, more focused on MX1, but I love to watch the MX2. And I mean, Adamo and Liam, they have really stepped it up. I didn't believe that they want to be this good already, but already kind of the first-year factory doing this good racing. It's impressive, and I think they will be there for a long time. And MX1 is always exciting. So.
Absolutely, and we also, you know, we've mentioned it earlier, Lisa and I, but it could be a big weekend for both Andrea and Jorge this weekend. Yeah.
There will be a lot of celebration, I guess.
Well, look. Yeah.
Well, as Paul said, you do wear 2 hats in the paddock. One of those is working with MIPS, with helmet safety. Just tell us, what does MIPS actually stand for, and how did it come about?
The MIPS company is a helmet safety company. We manufacture a safety system we put inside the helmet, but it's multi-directional impact system. So we intention is to reduce the impacts of a crash. We know from a fact that most crashes is coming from oblique impact, basically crashing and falling over, but every helmet is tested from a liner impact, and that's not how you crash. So we have a system that actually takes care of the rotation and motion when you crash from an oblique impact, and that's the way it should be, because we know that most helmets is designed not the wrong way, but it's not tested the correct way, and our safety system is redirecting the impact.
Well, we do actually have a clip here. Can you just talk us through what we're seeing on screen?
Yeah, this is the latest technology. We're always striving to make new technologies, and this is the one of our technologies. We have 9 different technologies. This is the most advanced we have, and Fox is putting this in the new motor helmet that some of the riders are already using this weekend. But we are working with a low friction layer that moves between the padding and the EPS. But in this new Fox V3RS helmet, we have gone even further into the EPS, so we have split up the EPS in different layers, so it moves in every direction. So when you hit your head, it actually transfers the impact away from your head. So that's the movement that we want.
And you have that in there, and obviously in this, not just in one helmet, it's going to be across the board, isn't it? There are other helmets as well. So what is this? This is the insert.
Yeah, this is the low friction layer that we put in most of the helmets. It's not in this one because this is a more advanced system, but this mimics your body. Basically, you have the brain fluid, and the skull, and then we need more movement. So basically, this is the second layer that we put above your skull and into the helmet. So we mimic basically your own body, the evolution of your body. So we want more movement. So brain fluid, skull, and then we added in a second layer, and then comes the helmet. So we have this rotational motion. Of course, it's super slippery, so we redirect everything. We want the impact to go away from the head. And if we can have 10 to 50 millimeter of movement, we will redirect the force that can cause you a brain concussion, but nothing is. You can still have a concussion even if you have the best helmet. But if you redirect the impact, you will have a better chance of not having this big hit to your head, and you don't want to have big hits to your head.
No,
for sure.
No. And what are the numbers then in terms of percentages of reduction? Like you just said, you're never going to completely eradicate it, but have you been able to sort of estimate a percentage of better outcomes?
Yeah, for sure. We are 25 years into the company. Was founded by a brain surgeon Hans von Holst in 1995. And every helmet that we test with and without the MIPS layer. But in numbers, we make it better. But it's hard to say a number because every helmet is different. But we have a minimum threshold of X amount of percent that we wouldn't allow the helmet to be on the market if we can't address this impact. But it's always hard to sell a number. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, your other hat, you're also involved with a JWR Honda team as team manager and coordinator. How would you evaluate Alvin Osland's performance this year in MXGP? We have a clip here.
Yeah, Alvin, what have you made of his performances this year?
I think we took a big step more towards, I wouldn't say exactly the top, but closer to the top 5. Last year, we looked at the times, and he had this like 5 to 6 seconds off in a time practice against the winner. Now we're down to 3 to 3.5, so we would say we have cut like 2 seconds. And he's been a perfect rider for us. We've been fighting for years. And finally, we have Alvin. That he's a good finisher. He's never gives up, and with the right material that we have could provide to him, we have getting from, I would say, to a top 15, 18 guy to fighting for the top 10s. Yep. And our goal this season was to have a top 9, and we did it in Finland. And for us, that was a kind of a dream coming true to be top 9 in a GP for a privateer team. So.
Great weekend for him. Well, JWR Honda is a Swedish-owned team. How important is it for you and also Johan, the team owner, to actually keep motocross in the public eye back home in Sweden?
I mean, there's a lot of heritage in Sweden about motocross. We're all the way from Torsten Hallman, so and to keep the team, Swedish team and Swedish rider is super important. And Johan Westermark, the owner of the team, is an amazing guy to want to invest and spend all his money to keep it the Swedish. And now we have a Swedish guy and also Tundell, a Norwegian guy. So our dream is to keep it Swedish, but it's hard. We also had riders before from different nationalities, but the dream is 1 or at least 2 Swedish guys, but it's not easy to keep finding the good Swedish kids out there. So.
Yeah, well, he did have a fantastic MX2 career, didn't he? And he's shown moments in MXGP, but hopefully, with you guys, he can continue that trajectory upwards.
No, he's a dream rider to have. He never gives up in fights, and just a good kid. I really like him. So,
will he be on the Nations team, Team Sweden?
Yes,
coming up?
For sure. He will be on the Nation team together with Philip Bengtsson's coming back, and also Isaac Giftig is being the open class on the big bike there.
That's a decent team, actually.
Yeah, we're gunning for a top 10. So.
There we go. and hey, it's not impossible, Motocross the Nations.
No. Good motivator there. So
absolutely. Well, look, Patrik Erlandsson, thanks for joining us in here.
Thanks,
and all the
so
best for the rest of the season and Motocross the Nations, because I know you'll wear your Swedish hat. 3 hats in 1 year.
Yeah.
What a guy.
I gotta tell you, got more hats than that. So.
Cool. Well, look, don't go away. Tim Gajser is getting ready to come and join us now. But before we do, here's another little snippet of one of our episodes, Behind the Gate. Mind the Gap. And this one focusing in on towards the end of the Dutch Grand Prix in Arnhem. Enjoy.
Despite Jeffrey not lining up for the races, it was still a weekend that would be hugely entertaining, good to watch. On a really difficult track, despite Jeffrey not being there, the fans were still out in full force, both on Saturday and Sunday, creating that incredible atmosphere surrounding the circuit. Roman is in the best form of his career for sure. Even since 2015, we have not seen a Roman Federer like this in a very long time. But his motivation now is just to finish the season on a high, secure second in the championship, and just prove to everyone that he's still a competitive rider, but also he can win another world title. He can do it.
Welcome back to our studio show here live on MXGP. Tell you what, that beauty cam doesn't look any better, does it, from the first time we were live on air. Anyway, look, our final guest is in with alongside me and Lisa Leyland, Tim Gajser, Team HRC. Fantastic to see you, but you know what? Looks like you were having way too much fun during rehab, on the boats, dog barbecues, dog swimming lessons. Are you over all of that now? Have you put all that to bed?
I was training as well, but it was nice to have some, let's say, normal life as well. You know, what usually when you are on the races, when you have like a season going on, you can do these things, you know, you have to really focus on trainings like traveling, you know, on the races. So, yeah, we had a little bit fun, let's say, and also we were training hard as well, yeah.
Well, look, obviously, what was it like returning back to the paddock in Lockett? Because I'm sure there would have been a different series of emotions. People wanting autographs and just being thrown back in at the deep end again. People like this one here wanting chasing you for autographs, interviews and stuff. How was that just being thrown back into that after, what, 6 months, 7 months?
Yeah, it was such a nice feeling, you know, coming back, especially coming also to Lockett, you know, where usually many Slovenian fans came, and it was the same this year. So, yeah, it was a lot of emotions, you know, it was nice to be again back with the team on the races, you know, riding the tracks with the competitions, you know. It was nice, it was really nice, because I was waiting for that moment many months.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned riding the tracks with the competition out there. How was the intensity of the races coming back, especially after just riding on your own around Tigerland? You must have felt that. Yeah,
exactly. Especially first couple of laps, you know, from the starts. I kind of like not forget, but it's kind of like the intensity is always so high, especially first couple of corners. Everybody's pushing, everybody want to pass as much as possible, and yeah, I could feel it, definitely. But then with the races, you know, step by step, I was getting back, let's say, to my fitness, to my shape. And now it's kind of like normal. Yeah.
Well, like you mentioned, you were kind of racing, but you weren't racing, if that makes sense. Because I think your plan was really just to sort of ride in the races just to gain that race fitness, right? Was that a strange sort of feeling to do?
Yeah, it was weird. Let's say all this season is kind of like a strange season to me, you know, missing, let's say, 12 GPs and then coming back. Also, when I came back, there was not pressure doing well, you know, like it was just getting back in the rhythm. Even first couple of GPs, you know, like even if I had a good start, I didn't really fight, you know. If the guy behind me was faster, I kind of like didn't put a lot of fights to stay there, you know. It was just to making a laps, you know, riding on the races, because as you say, you know, it's a different thing training alone and then racing with the other guys, you know. So yeah, it was kind of like a, you know, step by step, we didn't rush, and now slowly I start to feel better and better, and now I can push and start to win some races as well, you know, being in front. So yeah, it's getting good.
Well, look, it only took you 6 Grand Prix to find your way back to the top step. How was Turkey? Describe the, I don't know, the emotions, the relief of getting a race win and standing on the top step again. And it was, what, a year to the day, almost, one day before.
Exactly, yes. It was like 364 days. So the feeling was great. Already coming there, you know, I like that track. Already going on the first free practice on Saturday, I felt good. The bike was working nice, you know, we didn't really adjust a lot of things. So the bike was already perfect going first time on the track. So, yeah, then I just felt good, you know, and even on a Sunday, when I wake up, I know that it's going to be a good day. So, you know, that's kind of like little things that makes difference on the end. And, yeah, I'm really happy, you know, like you said, you know, it took me 6 GPs and almost a year, you know, to win again, but I'm really happy, and happy to do it this year as well, you know. There was not really a goal set, you know, that I want to win a GP this year, because coming from such a big injury we know that it's going to be difficult, but yeah, I'm really happy that we did that.
And here's my thing. I mentioned it in the commentary during the second race. There was the moment towards the end, you had a tip over, quite a big tip over. And before that, I can only recall during the sort of 6 races that you came back, there was that one on the first lap in Lommel, which seemed like, you know, when you burned your hand. Yeah. That was the only time that you seemed to, like, tip over or fall or whatever. And when you watched the way you were riding, you mentioned it as well, that you didn't really have the pressure, you didn't really need to attack, but you were leading the race here. You knew the Grand Prix was on the cards.
Yes.
But then you had that big moment, and you picked yourself up, you won the race. Mentally, has that helped you now? You've just gone, actually, you know what? I've had that. I'm back?
Yes, I think it can, especially because the mindset is really important in motocross, and especially coming after, from such a big injury, like when you have a first crash, then you think, I can crash, there's nothing happening, and then can change something in you, and then you can start to believe, you can have more confidence. Even if I push a little bit more, if it happens, that you crash, it's going to be everything okay. So definitely it helps. But yeah, as you say, like a first couple of GPs, I was just taking quite easily, of course I want to do well. Of course I want to fight every GP when I came for the podium. But that's how it was, there was not pressure. We just built, let's say, step by step, and then Turkey was a really good GP, and everything came together, and yeah, it was good.
Well, we're back in Majora. You owned this place last year. You won both races. After that win in Turkey, do you just feel maybe just a little bit more relaxed now about everything, really?
Yeah, I mean, Majora is a nice track. I did well here in the past. Almost every time we came here was raining, was muddy.
That's what our Italian TV crew say. We say, welcome to Italy, and they say, no, this is not Italy, this is Majora.
Exactly. I mean, hopefully tomorrow the forecast is showing that it's going to be a little bit better, but today it doesn't look really good. But anyway, yes, it's nice to came from a GP win, but definitely on these kind of conditions, the start is key, and then if you don't have a good start, it's really difficult to pass. Barely there is one line. But yeah, for everyone the same on the end, so I will try to give my best.
Well, final round next week in Italy. Then after that, we head to France, Ernée, for the Motocross of Nations. You're racing with Team Slovenia, first time actually since 2019.
Yes.
Is that something you're excited about? Something you're looking forward to end the year?
Yes, I'm really looking forward, especially to Italy and also to Ernée. They're both tracks that I really like. So also with Slovenian team, we have quite good team this year. So we will do our best and we see where we end. So yeah, really excited to let's say finish a season on a high note, and it kind of give me that motivation for off season to train hard and prepare for next season.
This place always delivers a fantastic atmosphere, doesn't it?
Yes.
Obviously, when you won in Turkey a couple of weeks ago, we didn't have the same kind of crowds that we normally get here. But in terms of like the last two races now, yeah, Italy, fantastic, great track.
Yeah.
Ernée, another great track. There's going to be, for sure, at the Motocross Nations, a lot of people. How is your experience of riding for Slovenia normally for the Motocross Nations? Because obviously in the past they've never really had the strongest team, but I think you've got three solid riders this year, especially with Pekalai.
Yes.
And Jan.
Yes, exactly. We did last two times that I was racing MX of Nation, we were like 12, 13, so it was good already that we qualified for A final, because we were struggling in the past even to came in the A final. But yeah, this year we had, myself, I'm coming in a good shape, let's say, and then also Jan is doing well in MX2. And also Jaka is a young guy, he's just 16 years old, but he did some European Championship races, so he has some experience. So I think we can do well, and that's our aim, trying to do well.
And actually, he rode as an MX2 wildcard in Turkey a few weeks ago. Yeah. How has that helped his kind of development, do you think, just being in with those guys?
I think it helps you a lot, because until you don't try, racing with MX2 guys, you don't know how hard it is, because of course AMX 250, the competition is strong. You can see also from the lap times, the top guys, they can do, let's say, top 10, top 5 in MX2 class. But yeah, for him, I think it's a good experience, learning, getting that feeling, riding with such a good riders, and I think it's just going to help him grow,
Yeah, well, look, Tim, we are out of time. But all the best here next week, and of course, Motocross of Nations for Team Slovenia. And great to see you, and great to see you on the top step a couple of weeks ago.
Thank you.
Good
Thanks,
job.
Tim.
Well, look, we are out of time, but Lisa and I will be back to do our studio show next week at the final round at Matchley Basin. But coming up on our broadcast this weekend, we start today, hopefully, at 3:15 with the Ram qualifying race, and of course the MXGP qualifying race, and all the action live tomorrow. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the weather holds out and we get racing again a little later on. But that's it. We're out of time. See you next week. Bye for now.